Welcome to This Day. It is Monday, February 22nd, and we have a few meetings to tell you about today. We have one at 9:30 this morning, which is the third Architectural Control and Standards Committee. Then at 11:30, we have the GRF Media and Communications Committee meeting. Now that normally is at 1:30, but they moved it to 11:30 to allow for the GRF Security and Community Access Committee meeting to be at 1:30. Now these are all virtual, so you could follow along at lagunawoodsvillage.com/meetings. Okay, on our show today, we have an update from Jeff Parker. He's got some great news to share with us for this weekend. And then we have an update from Debbie Dodson, who's here on behalf of the third board. Now, let's go ahead and give you our vaccination information that we normally do. And of course, you have a hotline you can contact if you do not find your answer at lagunawoodsvillagealerts.com on the FAQ. Now, the hotline is 594-2533, and lagunawoodsvillagealerts.com also has the portal. However, the portal this week will not be operational, and we'll tell you more about that when I sit down with Jeff. Now, if you would like to get your vaccine at Soka University or Disneyland, you can register at othena.com, and for more information there, you want to go to occovid19.ochealthinfo.com. And if you are a Kaiser Permanente member, you will want to contact them through their hotline, which is 833-574-2273, or you could go to their website, which is kp.org/COVID vaccine. Make an appointment there if you are 75 and older, and they will be contacting you if you are 65 to 74 shortly. All right, our weather is looking quite nice. It was really nice yesterday, so hopefully you were able to go outside and enjoy the beautiful sunshine. Today is going to be no exception. It's going to be sunny, and it's going to be 78-53, partly sunny on Tuesday, 74-50, and then we're going to cool down to 69-55, and by the weekend we're going to stay 69-53 and 63-46. And our sunrise this morning was at 6:27, and our sunset will be at 5:42. And Arnold, thank you so much for sending this in from Morro Bay. Just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. If you have a photo that you would like to share with our villagers, please email it to lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. All right, when we return, we will have Jeff Parker, so stay tuned.
At the Memorial Care Breast Centers, our sole focus is to save lives through annual mammograms. We've implemented the following safety measures to keep you safe during your appointment. All patients are screened upon entry and will be asked to wear a mask. Waiting areas and dressing rooms have been rearranged and are being disinfected more frequently. Appointment times are staggered for social distancing. All staff are screened upon entry and wear appropriate PPE. Our standalone breast centers are located throughout our communities, and with easily accessible locations from Long Beach to Rancho Mission Viejo, we're here for you, close to home.
We consider hearing to be an essential part of your life. During this time of quarantine and isolation, you need to be hearing the best you can to understand how to stay safe and to hear your friends and family. Advanced Ear Care is offering service to everyone that needs help with their hearing aids, no matter where it was you purchased. If it's not working properly, please call for a free troubleshooting appointment. We even have hands-free, no-contact curbside service. There's no charge for this service. Advanced Ear Care is here to keep you hearing during these critical days.
Now there's a new way to buy a new Lexus. It's called Car Dash, only available at southcountylexus.com. It's amazingly simple.
Visit southcountylexus.com, select and reserve your new or pre-owned vehicle that comes with a 5-day love it or leave it guarantee. Apply for credit, calculate your payment, and even appraise your trade-in. You can even have the vehicle delivered, all online, saving you valuable time.
Push a button, get a Lexus. At South County Lexus, different is amazing.
Welcome back. As I mentioned, we have Jeff Parker here. Well, hi, how are you today?
Monday morning, yeah, doing well actually.
Smiles on our faces, so
Yeah.
it's all good, right?
It's all good.
Good. Well, thanks for being here today, and I know you've got some great information for the village folks. And but before that, we'll go ahead and go over our COVID numbers.
We'll go over our COVID numbers, which are good too. Again, we've always talked about focusing on hospitalizations and ICUs. 577 hospitalizations and 190. So the context is last week when we were talking, we were at 790 hospitalizations and 257 people in ICU. So we've now dropped down below the 200 mark in ICUs. And the real important part about that, as we talked about, is that the capacity allows everything to happen at the hospitals that are normal. You know, surgeries, the emergencies, the broken leg, the broken arm. Anything that needs to go to an ICU can go to an ICU now because they have capacity. That's really, really good news.
Yeah.
COVID cases are down, 252. That was 361. So over 100 reduction since Friday. I will say, unfortunately, still reporting deaths that are occurring. That may be reflective of how many people have been in long-term ICU cases, and that's why we're seeing ICUs drop. But the reality is again, out of that, 17 people, 18 people are out of skilled nursing or assisted living because they're the most vulnerable. But 21 individuals in Orange County in residential areas too. So that's real unfortunate. We're creeping up on 4,000. Which we don't want to hit. I mean, that's not a goal. I know today there's going to be a moment of silence nationally because we've hit the 500,000 mark in the United States. So 500,000 people have passed away, unfortunately, because of COVID. With regards to our own numbers, we just went up 4 cases over the weekend from 384 to 388. So that's pretty slow growth, and that's want to see it going to 0, but at a very small increase in numbers. And our deaths in the community of Laguna Woods stayed the same at 28. So both positive numbers. If we can get that to be zeroed out so we don't see any cases, that's great. But in our environment, well, we're seeing some creep up anywhere. With regards to the purple tier that we're still in, not a lot of change in the cases, so we're right at that 20%, but we still have the real good news is that positivity rate versus the amount of people that are being tested is below 8%, which is what we want to achieve to get into that red tier. So some good movement. Slowly but surely we're creeping back towards getting into that red tier, which is really our next big goal.
Yeah, in fact, I understand that some of our restaurants now just might be opening up for indoor dining starting this week, which is really good news.
And that really depends on how the county is interpreting everything and what they'll regulate. So we'll be watching for that and see if there's any new regulations from the county with regards to
so is the governor going to talk again tomorrow, or?
Yeah, my understanding is tomorrow there's going to be additional press releases coming out, and I'm sure the governor's going to be on, and then that'll get passed down to the county, Orange County Health Agency, and then they also make an interpretation on where their numbers are, as well as the state guidelines. Okay,
well, that's great. I mean, anything to help those businesses, which is great, and then of course helps us get out and about and do our thing, as long as all the protocols, which are certainly being followed today, as we can see, so that's great news.
Absolutely.
So on to vaccinations. So I understand that you guys were able to secure quite a few vaccines. So let's see how that's going to work.
Yeah, so the unfortunate news, obviously, that we had over the weekend was we were not able to do any vaccinations this last weekend. Because of the delay and the shortage of vaccines throughout not only the state but nationwide because of the weather issues and just the dissemination of all of that. But we knew that we were going into that next phase of second doses where people were getting their second shot. So we worked with Orange County Health and Memorial Care, and they were able to secure not only those people that would have reservations this weekend, but also taking care of what we missed last weekend.
Okay, great.
So we've received an allocation of 5,000 doses, or a little over 5,000 doses, to be able to accommodate not only catching up last weekend, but also all the appointments. Unfortunately, as you mentioned, the portal's not working. We've had technical difficulties. I feel sorry for Memorial Care because they've been trying so hard to get that portal up.
Right.
So we'll be using Code Red as our primary source of getting information out to people, times, appointments, all of that.
Okay.
So be looking for that. We'll have more information that Eileen and her communications and media team are going to be putting out this week. So be careful and watch for that information as it comes out from us, as well as the telephone calls from Code Red, so that you'll know the best time and when to come down and get your vaccine over the weekend. And remember, when you went in, check those dates and make it consistent that 21 days was last weekend. So if you were in that group, then for sure you're going to get it. And then 21 days from the following weekend. So it's always 21 days after that initial weekend. So if you were in that second weekend when we first started it, then that's coming up. And if you were in that first weekend, obviously we're going to make up for that.
Okay, so then some of them, especially the ones who are for this weekend, would have maybe already had an appointment, correct? That was on their card. So is that still their appointment, or now we're going to change
We're still
that?
working on that, and that's, I'll say, to be determined, but I think we want to stay as consistent as we can. So we're working with Memorial Care. We're meeting tonight. We're going to have a special staff meeting tonight, and we'll have, hopefully, all that stuff ironed out so that we can, maybe I could come back real quickly tomorrow or Wednesday and just give you an update before Friday.
Absolutely. Yeah, that will be good, because I think that hotline could get a few phone calls. So we're hoping that don't call the hotline, because we're going to have that information for you here shortly.
Right.
And then, of course, we always have it right here on TV6, so then they can have an update if needed.
And I want to emphasize again, don't call the hotline, because it does not have any of this information on there at this point in time, and won't. And the operators just don't have the information. So we're evaluating that operation too, whether or not we're going to continue that. So we'll be evaluating that this week too, whether or not that's being effective anymore. Because if we're reaching out to you, then we don't need to have a hotline on back.
Exactly. And then you also have the Laguna Woods Village Alerts.com website that has the FAQ on it.
Right.
So I'm assuming the majority of the questions are probably answered there. So.
And that's a great place to go, by the way.
Yeah, or they could maybe send an email too. And would that be the email, the info@lagunawoodsvillage.com?
Same one.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
Exactly.
Good.
And I appreciate you saying that, because we want to be able to provide information to you, but it's a lot easier if we're sending it out to you as opposed to you calling in and impacting our phone system.
Exactly. All right. Well, good. Well, that's excellent news. We definitely needed to hear that, because I know people were starting to get a little panicky, like, wait a minute, how much longer can I actually wait? So good news. All right, good. So we'll either have you back again tomorrow or Wednesday with additional information.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And remember, the key is to be patient. They will reach out to you through the Code Red system to be able to get you all the information that you need, or you could watch us here on ThisDay on TV6. We'll be right back.
At Harvard Eye, we are so happy to be open again and to see all of you for your medical and surgical eye care. We're taking great care to protect everyone from COVID-19 by seeing fewer patients, spacing out chairs in our lobby, sanitizing our office constantly, and doing much more. The world is changing a lot, but what hasn't changed is we're honored by your trust and confidence, and we're committed to keeping you safe. We can't wait to see you.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Debbie Dotson, who is here on behalf of the third board. Well, Debbie, thank you so much. We are so happy you could join us today.
Oh, me too, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me. I've been watching you now for some time, and when I got this opportunity, I was very excited.
Well, I'm glad, and hopefully we'll have a lot of great information, and sometimes we have some laughs too, so all good. Well, good. Well, and something so exciting that you shared with me off camera is that you have finally taken the leap of faith and you went out and sat on a patio.
I did. I went last night and we sat. I don't know if a local restaurant. And we sat outside and enjoyed our meal, and it was wonderful. It was so great to actually feel comfortable enough to go back out. And the restaurant we went to was very COVID safe. They brought, individual use items. They had their menu. They had a paper menu, or you could use the phone QR code and get it on your phone. But it was a wonderful meal, and I feel so grateful to be out there and finally maybe a little glimmer of hope.
Exactly. Well, I think more and more people are feeling like that. So that's awesome. So with that said, you have a few COVID things that you would like to tell us about. So go ahead and start there.
Sure. We had our last board meeting on Tuesday, February 16th. That recording is available, of course, on the Granicus website of Laguna Woods. So if you missed it and want to see the entire open meeting, it's there for you. And as always, Mr. Parker comes and gives us his updates, including the COVID numbers. And we are so pleased that they are improving substantially across the board from, the hospitalizations and the positivity rate. So that is just so fortunate. And I know I feel better and am hopeful now. And I know that many of our residents are starting to feel optimistic as well. And he updated us, of course, like he does with you, Lisa, about the overwhelming success of the vaccination program here in our partnership with Memorial Care. And right now we have, my understanding is we've given over 8,500 or 8,600 vaccines to our residents. Which is remarkable, not to mention those people who have gone out and gotten them at Disneyland and Soka. But I cannot, and the board cannot thank enough the hard work of the VMS staff on making this happen, and the countless hours they spent on the logistics and working in tandem with Memorial Care and all the great village volunteers who brought this to a reality. I hope our residents realize how fortunate we are to have such a hardworking team here.
Thank you. That's great. That's good news, because you know what? It did take a lot of people to get that rolling. And now we're doing it on an ongoing basis. So each week is a new week, and there's new challenges and new successes each time. So yeah, it's been great. 8,500 people, and we have 9,000 or over 9,000 people that are over the age of 75. Now, some of course have elected not to get it, but nonetheless, 8,500 people in the village is great.
It certainly is. And some of the people who have elected not to get it, it's just a matter of education. I have a quick story. A neighbor that was a chemist, she talked to someone, neighbors that were afraid to get it, and she told them how it worked, and they decided to go sign up. So sometimes it's just, getting over that hump.
Yeah, and we've aired a few interviews with Ronnie Andrews, who is he's been in the diagnostic world for a really long time, and he's been able to help us understand the differences of what the vaccine is all about. So that was really great that the gal explained that to him, because you're right, education is super key.
It is.
So now let's move on a little bit. We've got the bulky item pickup is back. So tell me a little bit about what you want to say there.
I just want to remind people that if you don't want it, probably somebody else doesn't want it. So don't leave it by the trash bin for it just to be it's unsightly, and we want to keep our community nice. So with the bulky item pickup, you can arrange for them to pick it up curbside by calling resident services. So that's really, I just see a lot of times I'll walk out to the trash and see something, and I'm like, no, that shouldn't be there. It's just easy to pick up the lid and throw it in.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And sometimes those large items, you just drag them out. But I like the fact that you can just call resident services and they can just take care of it. So hopefully that'll, I know that started up again. And what is it usually, the third Saturday?
I believe it's the third Saturday of the month. And of course, it's time for spring cleaning. So now's a good time. Those things you've been waiting to get rid of all winter, here we go.
Absolutely. So, social media is a big communicator, good or bad. And there's been a couple of strange things that have been going on in our social media here in the village. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, the social media has been gotten a lot worse lately. There's a lot of misinformation, and it incites worries among our residents, and there's no basis in facts. But the vast majority of the board members do not participate in social media because that's not a way to solve problems. You can go there and vent, but it's not going to have a constructive outcome. So, and Third Mutual, we've actually introduced a social media policy for our board members about posting on social media, because we don't want anyone to think that we're promoting the board or the it's board policies or things like that. So none of our board, as I mentioned, uses these platforms to post our thoughts, and we want the community to know that by doing the social media policy, it is that we don't also approve of these forums to promote negativity. So we want to produce a positive outcome. So I would like to say, please don't believe everything you read. For the example, a forum like Nextdoor, that was designed to help people find your pets, find someone to help you with services. And it has just become a terrible forum now with bullying and things, and posting your complaints there will never result in a good outcome. You've got to bring your concerns to people who can help you, and start with resident services. That's what they're there for. You can email or call them. I've lived here for over 3 years and been a board member for just a few months, but I've never personally had any issue that I've brought up to resident services go ignored or unresolved. It's important that you give them as much information as you can, and when you contact them, and be patient. They will help you. Sometimes you will have to follow up. We've had some challenges over the last several months between COVID and the cyber situation, but things are getting back on track here. They really are, and they're here to help. Two things. I would like to talk about landscaping, that we are redoing some of the things on the website, so it'll be easier for residents to find the policies. And our landscape committee has been working very hard to improve with Director Wyman, so you'll see positive things there. And I do want to talk about new resident orientations instead of the resales, because resale you can see on our website. We are back with new resident orientations. They are still virtual, but our next one is scheduled in March for March 19th and then April 21st, but you do have to register with VMS. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, no, that's great. And you know what? We talk about the new resident orientations as well. And you'll want to register with becky.jackson@vmsinc.org, and she'll get you up on that. Now, tell me, you have another meeting coming up. When? When is that one?
March 16th at 9:30 a.m.
Okay.
And, we have when you go to Granicus, you can send us, either call in 30 minutes ahead or email us ahead. And we do have resident comments at the beginning of the meeting, and we will respond to them. We had a special residents meeting. We have not responded to that yet, but we are working on our response, and that will be shared at our next meeting.
All right, perfect. Well, Debbie, thank you so much. It was very nice to meet you.
You too, Lisa, and thank you for having me today. And wow, that time went fast.
It did. All right, well, we'll see you again, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Have a great day.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And we'll be right back after this.
Mother's Day is coming, and Diane's Hallmark is just the place to get Mom a gift that shows how much you care. Our women's department has gifts for that special someone, including clothing, jewelry, Vera Bradley and Bagolini handbags, Crabtree and Evelyn, and many other great gifts for Mom. Don't forget that our religious department carries a great selection of Christian gifts and Bibles as well. Diane's Hallmark is a Gold Crown store. Come in and experience our personalized service. We're located on Alicia Parkway next to Hobby Lobby.
welcome back. Well, our movie for today is called Harriet, and it is from her escape from slavery through the dangerous missions she led to liberate hundreds of slaves through the Underground Railroad. And so it's the story of the heroic abolitionist Harriet Tubman. So you can watch that today at 2 p.m. with subtitles, and then 7 p.m. with, oh, pardon me, there are no subtitles today. So you can watch it at 2 p.m. And it will have no subtitles for both of those. And that's brought to you by Hogue. So check that out today, and that'll be an enjoyable movie for you. Now, let's go ahead and tell you about the Equestrian Center. The Equestrian Center received $2,000 donation, which came from the Village Community Fund, but was supported by the Art Association. And the Help the Herd fundraising campaign, their goal is $10,000. So wanted to let you know that they're going to be purchasing various necessary supplies for the Equestrian Center. And there we have our riding adventure that we did that one year, which was super fun. And hopefully we will get back to, having riding. So anyway, if you would like to participate in the Help the Herd fundraising campaign, you can call that number that you just saw on your screen, the 760-533-7379. So awesome. All right, let's take a look at our weather one last time. It's looking quite nice. This week and through the weekend, we aren't expecting any rain, which I guess is a bad thing because we certainly could use the rain, but nonetheless, we're going to have some nice sunny skies. Today, 78-53, tomorrow, 74-50, Wednesday, 69-55, Thursday, a lovely day, 69-53, and then Friday, 63-46. So looks like pretty nice weather, so enjoy it while you can. All right, well, we're not going to come back, so we'll see you again tomorrow at 9 a.m. right here on Channel 6 on This Day. Have a great day in the Village. Bye-bye.
It's important for you to get your financial house in order. And so it breaks my heart sometimes when I see widows that come in with $100,000, $200,000 to their name, and yet their broker has lost $200,000 or $300,000 in the market when they shouldn't even have been in the market. The most satisfying part that I find in working with retirees is when they come in on their annual reviews and the market has had a bad turn, and we know that we can sit down and look at them and say, you haven't lost any money.
Today, patients have many options for their care, whether it's their private doctor, in urgent care, retail clinics, nursing advice lines, and even telemedicine. So while patients do have many options for their medical problems today, some conditions, such as heart attack, stroke, and sepsis, truly need immediate care in the emergency department. Every minute does count. We're here ready to help 24/7, 365 days a year at Memorial Care Saddleback Medical Center Emergency Department.